Let's get it on.
All right, Top Billin, you guys are going to have to explain to me that when I come up with some analysis and it goes against the grain of what some people may think, that I'm instantly labeled as a hater. I do not understand it. It's been that way for however many years, and it just baffles your boy right here, man. I do not understand how you can watch someone put in the work, right? You've seen me put in the work if you follow my career for over 10 years now, right? Starting at SB Nation and Bleacher Report and Saturday Down South and Rivals, and then getting this YouTube 5 years ago, getting that bad boy cracking, and then continuing on to just put in the work. You don't see me do anything but put in work. You don't see me on social media talking about which restaurant I ate at and all this and that, putting my personal life on the internet. You don't know nothing about me outside of covering football and breaking down schemes, concepts, and personnel, right? So, one of the more controversial figures, right, is your man Kelee Ringo from the University of Georgia. Now, I pointed out on several occasions that how I believe this man is more style than substance, if you get what I'm saying there. Like, he's a great athlete, fantastic athlete, really fast in a straight line. To me, he lacks what it takes to be an elite NFL prospect, or at least one of these guys where you're like, yeah, that's no doubt. I'm not saying he can't be a great NFL player by any stretch of the imagination. It's just if you're going by neutral analysis, you would have to go by what you see. And I broke the shit down 7 ways to Sunday, right? Over an hour worth of footage, right? Just to shut people the hell up. But then I look at something like this, a 3-round mock draft by Todd McShay and my man Mel Kiper from Baltimore. My man Mel Kiper right here. They going back and forth, making picks here. Pretty interesting, right? If you guys are into that stuff, y'all know me. I hate mock drafts. The shit's never make sense to me. They're never right. One pick can make everything go way different. So I'm looking right here. I'm like, all right, the first round goes by, and it is what it is. And I'm like, what? And I'm keep going here. Uncle Hook right there. You got Darnell Washington there. I'm like, wow, somebody's missing. I'm like, Ruh! Number 47, Kelee Ringo. And I think Mel makes this pick right here, and he says Ringo is a boomer bust defender, and some scouts believe he'll eventually move to safety. He is worth a flyer in round 2 because of his traits, though. If he puts his tools together, the Commanders could get a steal. Now, I do think that will be a hell of a pick for the Washington Commanders. No doubt about that. They need help at the cornerback position. If you were to get a cat like this at number 47, hey, it is what it is at that particular point in time, right? You didn't really take him with the premium pick, but he could possibly give you premium production. But you also took him commensurate to what he showed in college. There's no way. I would have redropped that whole hour-long film study on this joint right here with Mel Kiper now saying it, right? I was the one who said that first. I'm like, wow, Georgia should actually think about moving Kelee Ringo to safety, and they had this cat Malachi Starch, a true freshman, at corner. I'm sorry, they had him at safety, and I said, man, they could move him to corner because he covers like a corner. To me, he has better traits for the cornerback position than the Kelee Ringo. He has oily hips, right, pause, and he has the ability to track the ball in the air. He has some of the better interceptions you'll ever see there. While as your man Kelee Ringo there, at times he can be very physical in the open field. I've seen him whiff on a lot of tackles too, though. So even that right there gives me a little cause for concern, but you probably could clean that up. As far as tracking the ball in the air, man, he's one of the worst that I've seen at it. He could be there at the moment of truth and just not make the play. And he has hips that are stiffer than a diving board, straight up. This is not stuff that I'm making up. Now you see someone else saying this stuff right here, and I guarantee you nobody will label Mel Kiper a hater. They'll just say, man, he's just giving his honest analysis. So why is it that I become a hater if I give analysis just like this guy did? And I did it easily a year before he did it. What you get to see now is people doing what I've already done the past couple of years, covering Georgia naturally on this channel week in and week out. You get to hear their thoughts after really going back and dialing it in, right? Being dialed in with the footage and really dissecting his skill set. It's no different than something that I've already done, which is why you're getting similar opinions, because my opinions were just unbiased. I have no reason to even listen. I don't even know why people would say that I would hate on anyone, period. You have to be dumb, right? Right? Straight up dumb. You're missing a chromosome or something like that, because why would I hate on one man and not the other? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Jalen Carter's my number one player in this draft, but I just hate Kelee Ringo. I don't understand it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and re-put this footage back in here. And this is the most detailed shit you'll get on Kelee Ringo, straight up. And it's not by somebody who's helicoptering in. This is something that I've seen. Remember, covering Georgia, I had to do stuff on this man since he was in high school. So here you go. There's your honest assessment here, and you're seeing people saying this now, and I've already said it before. Now, remember, this doesn't mean anything. He could still go top 15, top 20 or whatever like that and be an NFL All-Pro, NFL Hall of Famer or whatever like that. This is just going by what you see now in college. That's it. So people talking about not getting beat deep, and to me, that's the dumbest shit in America. That's like the casual fan way of looking at football. Buddy, you're supposed to be competitive on every rep. They do not fucking coach you to be like, you know what? I only want you to be semi-competitive. I want you to put semi-competitive tape on the line where NFL scouts can judge our program, and then you represent that. We're going to have you guys out there representing that. What is this right here? This is man coverage. This is too deep, man under. This is not a zone coverage. Nobody cares about getting beat deep. They're putting you up on the line of scrimmage so you can mirror and compete with whatever route is called. Is this competing right here? Look at this. He's doing good right here. He turns to locate, and then nothing. What are we doing here, man? I'm not making this up. I have nothing against this kid. I don't understand why people are saying this. You slurping him does not mean I need to slurp him. My job is to give you guys my football opinion. In my football opinion, I don't think he's that good. I think he's that talented, or his attributes are that good. You're 6'2", 215, and you can run like that. That's dope as hell. That's the reason why I would still draft him in the first round, because I wonder if I can get the best out of him if I'm a coach. But you can't tell me somebody like this. Look at this. No hands-on man whatsoever. Falls off the cliff. Trying to stay in his hip pocket right there. He could have decreased the space, just been in the hip pocket. All right, the guys turn into locate. You turn to locate. Guys turn to locate. You turn to locate. Guys turn to locate. He's just now doing it, right? Just now doing it. So now he's trying to catch the ball in flight. He doesn't pick it up or something, and he just stops. He just literally just stops. Look, he turned back around and just was like, you know what? We'll just see if he catches it. And he did. So real quick, disclaimer for the Ringo sexuals out there. Am I making this up? Be mad and try to take something out of context, and it's not like that, right? It's nothing personal against Kelee Ringo. It's keeping up the, how would I want to say this? The integrity of covering a sport. Now, if I would be not myself if I was not pointing out stuff, especially if I pointed it out for an entire year on someone who I said is not that good. I don't think Kelee Ringo is that good. He is not upper echelon, otherworldly to me, and that's just me, right? Those are my opinions. I can be right or wrong, but it's just my opinion coming from my analysis. Whatever you want to think, whatever somebody else wants to think, I don't give a shit. You don't ever see me watching nobody else's stuff, worrying about. I don't even know 90% of these people who are out there. You guys bring them to the channel and talking about this person said this. I don't give a shit. Go watch them. If you're watching me, I'm worried about my shit and not worrying about what anyone else has to say on the sport. So you guys try to come in, and if you're a Ringo sexual or whomever the flavor of the year is or the flavor of the era is, you want to say stuff like, well, do you think you know more than Coach Smart and all this? I'm like thinking like, do you think you know more than Coach Smart? Because I'm pretty sure 99% of you people hated Stetson Bennett. And you still, up to 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, I had people coming to the channel talking about Carson Beck should be starting and all this. Think about that, right? So why can you do it with a guy like that and think you know more than Coach Smart, but then when it comes to your favorite 5-star, you're something different? What about Jake Fromm? All you people to this day said that Justin Fields should have been starting over him. Do you know more than Coach Smart, Cletus? So you can't just do that with your favorite 5-star. Some of these guys just get legions of fans, and I think Kelee Ringo is one of those. Obviously, he had that interception in the Natty, and even that, in my opinion, I broke that down. That man was beat on that particular play. It was just underthrown. It was great for him to catch the ball and then make it a pick six, and that's going to be memorable for you guys forever, right? But remember, I ain't no Georgia fan. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm saying I don't cover the teams that I actually love. I don't even talk about them. I want people to know they get 100% unbiased opinions when they come here. And this is my 100% unbiased analysis on Kelee Ringo's game. So hey, take that for what it's worth there. Georgia's still the best team in the country. Nothing changed. See what I'm saying? They could win with Kelee Ringo. They've been winning with Kelee Ringo. They've only lost one game that Kelee Ringo has been a part of, right? So take that for what it's worth. All right, I want you to check this one out right here. This is called an empty rep. Obviously, the ball did not go towards Ringo, but I want you to imagine this. This is what I do when I do film studies, and I try to prognosticate and project. I'm thinking, Will Levis, y'all know I don't like him. I don't think he's that good, right? I think he's a lot overhyped himself there. Suppose that's C.J. Stroud on the other end and not Will Levis. And suppose this guy right here is a Marvin Harrison or a Mecca Ibuka or Julian Fleming. So you have a better quarterback throwing to a guy who's probably going to go through his progressions a lot faster and not going to lock himself in on one particular thing here. So what do you have here? Coverage identifier. This is them in their dime package. So this is actually David Daniel back here. You get man coverage, Cletus. Soft zone, Cletus. All they do is play soft zone. Like, when the fuck have you known somebody from that fucking Saban scheme to play soft zone? Listen, this is when people show themselves. They know just enough to be dangerous. Now I understand what that phrase means. You know just enough to be dangerous. You think that someone saying don't get beat deep means, hey, give up everything underneath. No, that means don't get beat deep, don't give up anything. You're playing fucking football out there. What the hell are you talking about? If somebody tells you in training camp, don't get knocked out with the right hand, you play for the right hand, you lab that throughout training camp, they're not telling you then to go get knocked out by the left hand. Like, come on. They want you to be on your P's and Q's about one certain aspect, but that also means you still have to play the rest of the game because anything can happen, bro. The hell are you talking about? So this is going to be man-free. Man coverage right there. Man coverage with Lassiter. And watch Lassiter. He will go inside to show you that it's man coverage. His man is actually going to be running an in-breaking route here, and he'll be right up on that. So you'll see that right there. And who else right there? Yeah, so there you go. Man free right there. You have, I want to say Chris Smith right here. He gets to roam a little bit there, but you get the point right here. Check this out. So suppose this was C.J. Stroud. Look at him coming up out of this stem right here. I want you to check that out right here. Coming up out of this stem. Look at this. Look at the separation. That's that early pandemic separation right there. He has, look, he's still trying to transition. He is still trying to transition. That's just an easy pitch and catch for someone like a C.J. Stroud or a Hendon Hooker and those guys like that. They're not playing zone coverage. That's man coverage. They put you that close on somebody, looking them right in their eyes, and then you would think it's zone coverage. If it's zone coverage and they wanted to really play a soft zone, they would back you off a lot, have you look at the quarterback, give you something like outside leverage, let you bail on that, give you a certain portion of the zone to work with. In zone, you look at quarterback. In man, you look at your man. I mean, it's that fucking simple. But you can see it right here. He has trouble coming out of the transitions with people. Right here. Look, he stems that down. Look, Kelee Ringo stuck a hand out, right? He stuck a hand out to try to hold, to get himself in a transition. He can't. He's still sliding. He's typewritering like the early MC Hammer days. Look at that. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. You're damn right you couldn't touch that, man. Look at the separation right there, man. Come on. All right, we're going to check this one out right here, this interception. I will give him credit for catching the ball. If you know anything about football, this man was actually beaten. What is this again? Is this soft zone coverage? Is this I gotta be careful with this shit too, man. The spot's hot. They are literally content ID claiming every single thing that I do, and I don't know why. This is crazy out here. So make sure you guys supporting the channel out there, man. Stop sitting on your hands being a freeloader. But check this out right here. You can't tell me if this wasn't a better quarterback here who didn't just throw this, lollipop it up when a man is beat. He already had in his mind he was going to go here, and he lollipopped it. Look at that. Look at that. I don't give a damn what you think Kelee Ringo can do. If that ball is higher, further and away towards the pylon, he's beaten. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He has help over the top, no doubt about that. It's once again too deep, man under. But look where he had to right here. Will Levis didn't throw that shit. He threw that shit. I don't know what he was doing. But if that ball is something like, let's say, like out this way or something like that, like back towards here, it might be tough for Starks to get there. Think about that. You got to always think about something like that. It might have been tough for Starks to get there. Let's see it from a little bit closer here. Well, you can see Ringo right here. This time he does get hand on man, right? He uses it as a range finder there. The guy's already tracking. Ringo actually turns his head pretty quickly this time. But look at right here. If you see right here to where, let me see if I can get something better than that. But look, Will Levis already threw the ball. If the ball is coming on this plane out here and he throws it with some velocity, there's just no way Kelee Ringo or Malachi Starks could get there. He's beaten on this play. Now, this thing starts to pixelate here, so you have to just use your imagination there. But he does a good job of going up and catching it. But, shit, he's beat. He is absolutely beaten on this particular play. And people will look at that right there, and they will make that to be his entire game on that particular game right there. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But, hey, that's not how I work here. I'm going to look at the nuts and bolts of it. It's not personal. I have nothing against Kelee Ringo or anybody up here. I am neutral. I'm not a Georgia fan, so don't expect me to slurp off like some fan or whatever like that. And don't expect fans to do that either. Why don't you guys just keep it neutral? You know, slurping somebody does not make you a good fan. It makes you unrealistic. You know what not wanting to get beat over the top truly looks like? It'll look like this, right? These guys right here in the high red area don't want anything to go over top of them. So not only will they be off, they will pedal at the onset. They're pedaling at the onset while still keeping their eyes on the quarterback. You see that? That's zone. That's off, man. That's soft zone right there. That's when you get like, hey, yeah, you can't do anything with a slant or anything like that. You should be able to work with a curl, though, right? Unless it's a super quick curl. But if it's a regular curl or a comeback and you're with this type of leverage, you should be eating those alive. So stop with the bullshit. You never played the game, never played the position or anything for you to even give anything that's really of substance. Come on, man. It's right here. You coming out of your pedal like this or something like that. Yeah, if they run a slant, then yeah, it is what it is on that. But come on, man. If you're freaking right up on somebody and they want you to be competitive no matter what. All right, here we go. Coverage identifier. You get man free. Kelee Ringo up here against Justin Shorter. Man coverage. Lassiter here, man coverage. Javon Bullitt here, man coverage in the slot. And then because you have fabricated pressure going on, they're sending 6, right? You got Smile Monday here. And, of course, Jamon Dumas Johnson being sent with everyone else. That leaves your man Chris Smith right here as a single high safety to where if Anthony Richardson does a good job right here, he can get someone matched up on a vertical route. And you do see, of course, Justin Shorter right here on a vertical route, which is Kelee Ringo's wheelhouse. So we see this right here. Take that snapshot right there. Clean pocket and everything right there. My man just has to release that bad boy. And we can see right here, at the moment of truth scenario, nothing. Splatterwhacked himself, right? Man, splatterwhacked himself. Mistimed his jump. I don't know what you want to call that. Let's look at it a little bit closer right here. All right. I like this. Great base width here. Being patient, allowing that man to do what he does, right? He's setting up the route, but really Kelee Ringo is taking inventory. You want to see him put that left hand to that right shoulder pad to get himself into position, and he does not. He just turns the run with them. And, of course, we know Ringo can run. Justin Shorter can run as well, but he can't run like Ringo. So vertical routes are usually his thing, right, where he makes his hay. And we can see him right in the hip pocket, doing a good job starting the track just like Justin Shorter. You want to see that right there? There's really nothing you can say bad about this particular route right there. You see he stride for stride, step for step. But at the moment of truth scenario, let me see. He doesn't even gather himself, right? He's almost jumping off of 1 foot to try to time it. And he just stayed patient, stayed in the hip pocket, and then tried to jump off of 2 feet. He might have been better. But he jumps off 1 foot, doesn't get enough air, absolutely mistimes this. It's right in the perfect place by Anthony Richardson right there. And then you see it right there. Splaka Taya fertilized himself. Hey, I'm only going by what I see on the film. Okay, sir, you people are making this a lot harder than it needs to be. It's not rocket science. This is actually zone. Remember, it's Georgia. They play a multiplistic approach on defense, whether it be through cover 3, cover 4, man free, cover 2. They do a lot of shit. You can't just say everything is soft zone just because Kelee Ringo is giving up catches. That doesn't make sense. This is actually zone right here. Soft zone. I don't know what the hell that is right here, but this is probably into their cover 4 range. You can tell they're playing zone by this. Check this out. You see them start to bail, and what are they doing? You see them looking at, or have to look at Lassiter here. You see him looking at the quarterback. Right, so he wants to have eyes on the quarterback and eyes on his man. You see him; he already checks that off right there because he's working deep right here. He's working deep. Somebody else is going to have to get somebody breaking in like that. More than likely, it's going to be one of the outside linebackers, like a Robert Beal or something. They'll have drop off into that, but he's working deep there and keeping his eyes on the quarterback. Now, here's it in real time. With them playing that type of coverage. Watch, Ringo will have his eyes on the quarterback and on the... Yeah, I told you about throwing against Kelee Ringo. I told you that. I told you. But no, that wasn't the idea at all. That's not exactly what happened right here, right? If you actually look at the film, once again, Ringo was beaten. He mistimed his jump again. It just so happened that this dude right here is not having C.J. Stroud being thrown to a Marvin Harrison or one of these great combinations that they've encountered. You see right here, this is in this guy's hands. Ringo was beaten again, and this is on a vertical route, which is his thing, right? And it's what he's has to look on film, and it's like, okay, suppose the dude does not drop it. Kelee Ringo did not affect this. He right there. That's how you evaluate film, and that's how you're like, well, okay, it's not everybody's always going to drop a pass, or not every ball is going to be underthrown and stuff like that. What happens if the conditions are like in the NFL? That's when you see what's going on with it. A lot of the times, if you make a mistake, they will make you pay for it. In college, you don't get a lot of that because most of these people that are playing in college don't go to the NFL. They're not NFL material. It's what you people fail to realize. I even had somebody up on the channel talking about this is Georgia. There's no way someone who's average or something like that will play at Georgia. What the fuck type of football have you watched? That's definitely the case. Think about all these guys that you've watched that you don't ever hear from again. They're working at Shake Shack. What are you doing here? Go think about all the DBs over the past 10 years. Will it be a Dominic Sanders and some of these guys like that? Are they in the NFL balling? Come on, man. Stop the madness. Remember, when I said they are actually in zone and he has to go against an in-breaking route, then, hey, there's nothing he can do about it. This is the case right here. No doubt about this. You see this right before the snap. You see, who's that? Bullard. You see Bullard start the bell and everything like that. I don't know why, but if you can see right here, I don't know why they would give up this type of cushion on a slant route, but guess what? Even though you are belling, it's a short bell. They just want you to keep everything in front of you. You know, at the very least, I would really be crowding that damn first down line here and be ready to break on something. But look, he's kind of slow to react on this one. You can see the false step that he takes. I want you to look at the footwork right here. Right? Instead of sticking that foot in the ground and then driving on this, he has to take a couple of false steps. You see that? Right here. False step, and then that made it to where there's enough separation there. Obviously, it's going to be hard to combat that, but it is what it is on that front. So Tougher to defend. It's no doubt about that, tougher to defend. But guess what? I don't cover just Georgia. I cover all kinds of teams. I've seen plenty of people be competitive with a route like that in that same exact situation. But I will give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. It's a little tougher to do that. All right, on this one right here, you're going to get a bit of a combination coverage. You can say that Kelee Ringo here has kind of a quarter of the field here along with Javon Bullard. But essentially, this is man coverage with zone principles. So he should be able to be competitive with this particular route here by Brian Thomas, he being Kelee Ringo. So Ringo will have Brian Thomas right here, and then you'll have Javon Bullard getting on Kayshon Boutte. Pause. They do this obviously because there's a chance for a switch release right here, and it'll be quick hitting because it's into the boundary as well. So if you put them in off, they're able to recognize that after the switch, and rather than putting them right up on the guys and then having the switch be the thing and then having to decipher that on the fly. But you see right here, Lassiter's clearly in man coverage. Jamon Dumas is in man coverage on Josh Williams, the running back, and then you have Smile Munden here on the tight end. So obviously that leaves Starks and Smith here with your two deep shell. There's nothing to it but to do it on this one right here. I want you to notice the technique from Kelee Ringo. Look at this. So you do get a switch release. Now look at this. It's route recognition time here. You're 23 yards or something like that from the end zone. There's not too many routes they're going to be able to really run here. Or put it this way, some of the routes that they run are not going to be as impactful. So if you see this right here and you have this outside leverage, you should be able to stick that foot in the ground and really drive on end breaking routes. But look at this. Out of this transition right here, he takes another false step, and then Thomas is able to get this coming right here, and boom, you get yourself a pretty easy completion there. Just check him coming out here. I just want you to watch the footwork. Watch this. See, he's coming in right here. This is the time where you want to be patient and being able to read this. If you transition with him, you would stick that right foot in the ground and then drive on this. But look, he takes a false step and sticks the left foot out. So that makes you take two more steps before you see that. You got to be able to plant, right? So that makes you take two more steps. And by the time you're doing that, he's already transitioning. That right there, that's football. That's the cornerback play right there. You play it with your feet. Remember how many times I have to say that? You play cornerback with your feet and with your eyes. So you can Ringo sexual your way up out of that one all you want. If you understand the sport of football, he could have been a lot more competitive on that rep, and he could have broken that pass up if he had been, I don't know. Well, you guys got to watch your man Sauce Gardner in New York. He's competitive with everything. They'll take him and try to erase people. We've seen this before, man. And I'm talking about guys. We can go back to Patrick Peterson in college. That's who Ringo is set up like a Patrick Peterson. Peterson had that freakish type of speed. He had that same type of size, height, weight, everything like that, right? But Patrick Peterson had fluid hips, very fluid, oily hips. That's something that I don't see with Ringo in the transition phase right there. Remember, Peterson would guard your best receiver. He was traveling with the best receivers. They were giving him a lot of shit to do. Ringo plays to one side, right? He'll more than likely just play into the boundary. Big difference there. So don't give me no bullshit excuse like Ringo is the only person to ever play the game of football. Come on, man. This is great by Ringo here. You see him in pretty much zone with man principles, but you'll get a fade here. They'll switch release this into a fade for Kayshon Boutte, and he does a good job using his size there. You see him peek in and then reverse that there. Does a good job of bodying up with Kayshon Boutte, and then he gets to use his length and his jumping ability there to deflect the pass. All right, he plays this particular route here to perfection. Now remember, this is the route that he excels with for the most part. You would believe when it's like this type of situation where it's not too far you could go because you're by the end zone. So we've seen him before, but this is right up in the hip pocket here. He turned to locate right when Brian Thomas turned to locate, and he's able to get up for the downstroke here. Although he doesn't actually touch this pass. If you're looking right here, he doesn't touch it. Thomas tries to go with one hand. I'm not sure why he only went up with one hand there. Maybe Ringo had him pinned in too much. But like I said before, if that's a C.J. Stroud throwing to a Marvin Harrison or a Mecca Ibuka or something like that, maybe it's different here. But look, Thomas running, not using his hands. He's just trying to position or something like that. He needed to have gotten his hand free, right? Gotten his hand over the top so he could have jumped with two hands there, but he tries to go up and make a spectacular catch. So I would say Ringo's positioning made it to where he couldn't really get that other hand involved. So that's a good rep by Kelee Ringo. All right, check this one out right here. So this goes or flies in the face of what a lot of the Ringo sexuals would say with a game like this. Now, this is actually, if you want to call it a soft zone, but technically they're just rolling coverage to the middle of the field right here and making this 3-deep shell again. So you get that bottom, that third coverage there from Lassiter, a third coverage here from Ringo. But when it goes to your particular portion here, you have to continue to stay on it. That's just what it is. You can't have a momentary lapse in judgment or anything like that. So you pretty much just get coverage across the board. So if they're running this right here, right? Looks like it was almost like a near sack or something like that. You see that? He rolled out of there. It is zone. So you do peek at the quarterback, but at a certain point in time, you have to know, you're like, all right, well, I have everything covered in front of me. Let me not get beat deep. So we can finally do the whole, I don't want him to get beat deep Cletus thing here. But this time he starts to look back at the quarterback and continues to look at the quarterback as if the receiver can't go anywhere else but to the back of the end zone or something like that, or to the back towards the pylon. Loses sight of his man here and gives up a catch, a touchdown at that. Come on, man. Some people going to say, oh, but what about Malachi Starks getting depth and all this, that? Yeah, he should have gotten depth as well. But guess what? You're all back there, right? To a certain point in time, you can even see Lassiter right here. He starts to bend it on the inside with I want to say Brian Thomas right there. He starts to bend it on the inside with Brian Thomas because you have to pull the ripcord eventually because they're still playing football out there. Now it's more of a broken play kind of thing here in a scramble drill, but he continues to be like, no, Cletus, I'm only not going to get beat deep towards the pylon. No scramble drills ensue. You need to get your man from your particular point in the zone there. So that's on Kelee Ringo. Mission was aborted because of the scramble drill. All right, so on this one right here, this is when I know people don't know what the hell they talking about. Check this one out right here. People are going to blame Malachi Starks for this, but check this out. 2 deep, man under. This is not zone. 2 deep, man under. He's playing it like it's zone. He's turning back to look at the quarterback. But look, he's turning on the inside looking at the quarterback, which is going to naturally stop your legs. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Look at Bullard here. He's not looking at the quarterback. I'm not sure who this is, but it's probably Smile Munden on a tight end. But you can clearly see that this is 2 deep, man under. Right, everybody's matched up there. Then you have Smith back here, Starks back here. Listen, people want to say it's the safety's fault. No, I'm sorry. It don't work that way. I played safety. That's a help position. It's not a you get it and then I get it position. It's help. It's I remember telling in practice, it's like, all right, we're going to jump this kid, right? That's what you're doing. You're jumping the receiver. You're both going to be on him. It doesn't mean the cornerback needs to lay off and then be like, all right, it's your turn. If we go in to jump somebody in a fight and then we like, yeah, we're going to sneak. It's Ray Lewis or, it's Deontay Wilder. We know that one-on-one, neither one of us can beat Deontay Wilder. So we go to fight Deontay Wilder and then you be like, all right, you get him first and then I get him second. No, it don't work that way. You're jumping a player. So with this right here, Kelee Ringo is his assignment to be there. And then it just so happens Malachi Starks would arrive there as well. It's not okay, now it's your turn. He's peeking and looking back and slowed down. And then Starks is unable to time his jump right there. Good throw by the quarterback to Malik Neighbors here. But check this out when it starts. Look at this. He turns, Look, everyone is in man coverage. Man coverage. Look at that. This pixelates here, so because it's lewd and lascivious behavior, so they had to freaking. Wish I had a different version of this right here, but you can see it pixelate, and by the time it pixelates, look how far he is away. That makes zero sense. You don't see nobody else not matched up on their man. Come on, what are we doing here? That was too deep, man under, and Starks didn't get there. Right, so that's bad on him as well, but it's also bad on Ringo because he could have just been there and batted the pass down or been more competitive with it. That's the only thing I'm saying right there. Another too deep man under, this time into the boundary, so you know what it's going to be right here. He's straight up man coverage right here on Malik Neighbors, man coverage. You're going to have man coverage here as well, and you'll see Bullard and these guys start to take shape with that. So you'll have pretty much a triangle defense from on both sides mirrored like that. So these are terrible triangles, but you get what I'm saying there. So Smith will more than likely help with anything breaking this way, and Starks will help with anything breaking like this, but it does not matter. It's still the cornerback's responsibility to get his man in man coverage. Look at this. He takes an inside approach. Neighbors does here, and then this is what I've seen with Ringo before. As good as Ringo can run, sometimes people just outrun him. Look, Malik Neighbors just puts it on him. He continues to run vertically up the field too. Look, he runs vertically up the field damn near, so he's decreasing the space there, and then Neighbors just starts to bend it to the post. Starks doesn't do a good job here either, which is very rare. He is the guy who I think is the most natural corner if we're talking about between Starks and Ringo. He has oily hips like a mug, and he can catch, he can jump, he can do everything right there, but it is what it is on that front here. But look, he runs out of real estate or something like that, and then they bend it to the post, and then Malik Neighbors corrals that bad boy. Good throw by Nussmeier as well to get it to the post. But you cannot tell me that's not on Ringo and Starks, of course, but Ringo's in man coverage. There's nothing you can say otherwise about that. Look at everyone else's assignment. That's all you have to do is just learn and then see what everyone else is doing, right? Smile Monday here, he stays in because his assignment stays in. So he needs to guard the flat. They got to always have the flat working or something like that. So you see him bow out to the flat there, but everyone else in man coverage. Bullard, man coverage. Lassiter, man coverage, and then you have your help there. So I don't know what to tell you guys. All right, check this out. Coverage identifier, you're running that 4 deep shell. You're running cover 4 here, so he's going to get a quarter of the field. You'll get the safeties here. You can see how they are kind of scrunched up and pretty much off to the edges of the offensive line or the offensive formation here that they work middle a quarter as well, right? Both of them get a quarter of the field. So they get to squat on this, and they essentially become inside corners. So whatever comes in this direction, they get it working vertically or pretty much working in man coverage. And, of course, you get a quarter of the field here from Lassiter on the other side. Once again, y'all's favorite thing to talk about, vertical routes. And what happens on this one right here, you get pretty much a skinny post. You can see Ringo here in pretty decent position, but then the dude hits the jets on him here, and Ringo cannot put his foot in the ground and simply just go over the top of the receiver. He just gives up, it almost seems like. Let's look at it a little bit closer. All right, remember, he gets to work with that outside leverage, being able to still look at the quarterback while looking at the receiver, and then when you determine what's going to be there, you get in that hip pocket and mirror. But what's going on here? My man is separating from him, as you can see right there, vertically. And what? Right then and there, you see where the ball is. You put that foot in the ground, you come over the top, knock the ball down. If you can't intercept it or whatever like that, at the very least. But what you don't do is this. Look, he starts to hold first and foremost, which we'll get into as well. My man's a walking penalty. At least once or twice a game, he's going to get a penalty. And I know Ringo Sexuals don't say anything about penalties. You know why? Because Ringo Sexuals don't understand the fabric of the sport. Penalties is giving up a catch. or giving up a first down. It's giving up a sack. If you false start or hold or something like that, it's the same yardage loss. It's what it's looked like in the film room. If you interfere with somebody and you giving up 15 yards or whatever like that, that was a catch. They got the yardage anyway. But if you see right here, this was a catch anyway. Here's what it is. It's one thing to be a great athlete. Then it's another thing to just, I don't know, try to invent or reinvent the wheel. What is this? Look at this man. He has outside leverage, but he lets himself get to the inside of the receiver. What type of sense does that make? So once he does that, right, looking at the quarterback, he has to turn around. So now he's back in goofy position, right? He's in goofy position, turn chest to chest with somebody instead of being in their hip pocket, and you know what he's going to do. My man has to be listening to some smooth R&B, some of that 90s R&B before the game or something like that, because he's always touchy-feely with it. You look at this, man. You this far down the field, what is this going to do for you? You can't be grabbing and holding like that, man. You ain't Al B. Sure. Come on, man. Only Al B. Sure can be touching down the field like that. Come on, man. What are we doing? This shit, man. I can tell you how I feel about you night and day. And, of course, no, you can't, because that's a penalty. You can't be telling people how you feel about them night and day, man. What are we doing? Nah, I can't help myself. We got to get a little bit of a preview here. Listen, there's no disrespect to a Kelee Ringo, but this is respect to the game of football. And that's what I'm always going to have when I'm behind this microphone and in front of this film, and that I've had my entire life dealing with this sport and the other sports that I have. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. Listen, this is Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech ain't got it like that. They don't have Marvin Harrison Jr. They don't have C.J. Stroud throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. or Emeka Egbuka and guys like that playing behind the offensive line that Ohio State has, at least as far as the talent goes. But why do you need to do this? Check this out right here. My man does not understand how to locate the ball. Check this out right here. This man has already turned, and he's signaling that you should be looking too. There's only one thing he could be looking at when he has his eyes like that. You go ahead, flip your damn head around and look to, just stay in his hip pocket. Then you don't have to try to guess. He's running and guessing right there. He's waiting for him to make a move, and guess what? It's a back shoulder fade, which he would have known had he simply been trying to locate the ball as well. So then he has to try to stop, and guess what? That man getting his Deshaun Watson on with his magic super pervert robe, right? He way too touchy. Come on. That's crazy right here. Oh, is it too soon? Yeah, it might be too soon. But listen, that's not how you play cornerback, man. With his hands. He needs to be playing it with his eyes and his feet. That's terrible, man. Got it from this direction right here. Look at that. The ball's not even there, and he's bear hugging this man. Come on, fam. He's a tiptoe burglar out here just messing with people. I feel like he can do a lot better than this. Then you hear a lot of the excuses that were in the comment section. One of the worst comment sections ever after that Tennessee game when I did that Ringo section, man. Whole bunch of fanboys in there trying to tell me about a sport that they're watching me cover and watching me make a living doing. You're not making a living doing the shit. You're watching me, but you're trying to tell me, come on, man, get the fuck out of here with that. This dude needs work. He needs work. This happened way before it was exposed in an SEC championship game. I've been saying this shit all along. It does not matter how long he's been a starter. He's 2 years in now, and they're in the fucking, 13th game or some shit like that of his second season as a starter. He has more than enough experience for this not to be the case. So coming up out of this game, right, you had a handful of people that I know that are just flat out homers. And that doesn't cut it here, right? I have to get those people up the fuck from around me because I don't play that, right? This is analysis. You're not trying to hurt someone's feelings or anything like that. You're just calling it the way you see it. If anyone's coming out of this game talking about Kelee Ringo being a shutdown corner, that is pure homerism. There's no way you could have derived that from one great play. We did that on the post game, right? I dissected that play. That was a great play downfield, great interception, momentum takeaway, momentum changer, however you want to say that he did that. But the rest of the game, he was uncompetitive. Uncompetitive. And people trying to make excuses like, oh, they just didn't want to get beat deep. There's a way to be competitive and not get beat deep. Ask Darrelle Revis. You can be competitive in the mid-range and quick game and still not get beat deep. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? Come on, man. You're giving up stuff like this. Check this out right here. This is man-to-man coverage, right? Look at him. Off the gate. Get up. Out. Look, you got to let a man separate. Come on. You know that's going to draw a flag. This is the shit he's been doing to me all 2 years that he's been playing. Now, look at him. Right? Kid looks like a straight up freak. He's a first round draft pick through and through. Even as bad as I think he is, right? I think he's average at best, but he's still a freak athlete out there. You're going to want to coach that up if you think you're a good coach, because these are the guys who end up being something special because they just have gifts that other people don't have. But from a play standpoint, nah, he ain't got it like that, Jack. Look, my man right here falling off the cliff, no hands on man. He wants to get hands on man down the field. You want to get hands on man down the field, this ain't the time to do it. Not in transition. Look at that. That's a bear hug. What is that going to do? That's your shutdown corner? Come on, my man's trying to separate. He's like, come on, man, get up off me. Come on, man, this man's like a sexual predator out there or something. Come here, girl. Come here. Like, come on. Like, no, get him off me, please. Like, that's not how you play cornerback. You play cornerback with your feet, not with your upper body. Play it with your feet. Stay up off the guy. Trust that you can transition with them. That's his thing right there. I don't think he transitions well, and I think he knows that. So he has to kind of feel his way through a route instead of letting his feet do the talking, right? When I talk about being jingle-footed, being light, having that rhythm, he doesn't have that. Look at him, man. This is just too much. That's a first down. You gave up a first down. I want you to check out this exchange between Ringo and Javon Bullard here. Check this out. When you're a DB, you guys rep all the time, and you get to see people rep, and you get to see how the coaches respond to it in both practice and in the film room. You can tell he was not happy with this, despite what some of you nut huggers say. Look at this. He comes up to the man like, come on, man, what the heck you doing? Didn't coach tell you about this 400 times? And Kelee Ringo got that little look on his face like he a bad little kid. Like, but so? Come on, man. Man, some cat was up in there telling me that when you play cornerback, as long as you're close, it's a good rep or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, he was trying to say he played cornerback or something. I'm like, there's a reason we don't know who the fuck you are. And you sitting up in the comment section of some random video is that's how you play quarterback. That's not the case. Look at him rep against this curl out here. Hands on man, look at that. Step, come back, and look at the early pandemic separation on this curl route, right? That's that. I'm talking about the week one when we found out what COVID was. That's the type of separation everybody had, no matter where you went right there. And then check this out after the catch. Look at Tillman. Put that foot in the ground here, and my man is just completely social distancing himself. Look at that. Come on, man. What are we doing? He's running up and down the field. It just looks like he's going through the motions. This is where cornerback play is derived at. Not everything is going to go deep. 95% of the reps you work with are going to be more in the quick and mid-range game, especially in this day and age. But come on, man. Look at this. I don't understand what anybody's talking about if they saw this type of stuff from this man. That's not a competitive rep at all. And stop with the excuses like he didn't want to get beat deep or they didn't want him to get beat deep. That's a scheme thing. That's why you would play a too deep shell. There's your help over the top. Look at that. Who's that right there? Chris Smith. So that's help over the top. That means you need to be competitive within the framework of the defense, which would be what 90 to 95% of the plays are going to be, which is the quick and mid-range game against this particular offense here. If you're competitive against that, you disallow a rhythm, and then you definitely disallow something big to happen underneath the word, hey, they could break a tackle and move the chains just as explosively too. A lot of their stuff is built on run after the catch. So don't give me that, man. Come on, use your brain. All right, once again, remember, this is high-level football. You're across from a guy who is probably thought of as highly as a receiver as you're thought of as highly as a cornerback. And it's a simplified offense. What I tried to tell y'all, I was watching their film, and they run just a few different routes. They're going to have some questions to answer in the NFL draft process too if they can run a full route tree. They simplify it so they can move fast. They only run a few routes, and they align them where they align them, and they just master just the basics. And you see it right here, same kind of deal. Hands on man, look at him. Come on, there's a way to transition from a curl to where you can run the receiver or you can run the route for the receiver. Look at that. Once again, early pandemic separation there. And, of course, you can see, once again, this man's having to go up for the ball, man. He's super inaccurate in this game here, but this guy has some serious Cedric Tillman is the truth. But you think they want to just give up first downs? Like, what are we talking about here? That's not competitive at all. I mean, he's getting some severe separation here, and that's what they do. They'll run vert, run curls, run slants. And you knew this from film prep. And yet they still able to get that early pandemic separation. And they're putting you there hands on man. Look at this. I like this right here. Put that right hand to that left shoulder pad as a rangefinder. You can stay over the top, start to decrease the space, stay in that hip pocket. You have outside leverage here. So when he's getting vert up the field, you need to be able to react when he reacts. So if you're taking these longer steps, I don't know, maybe you start to chop it down when you know it could be something. You definitely need to put that left foot in the ground here and be able to react. But look at him. He keeps going down, taking false steps. And he's still going. Rumor has it he's still going right now. He is still running right now trying to get back to this curl route. Look at that separation right there. Straight up. Social distancing at its finest. I want you to watch this particular sequence right here. The Kelee Ringo does very well on this one here. So this is man coverage, right? So 2 deep, man under. And the way they have this staggered, you almost wish that they could banjo this. If you see how this is developed here, they do a lot of these slot fades. So they'll send the slot receiver deep while trying to work underneath on the outside here. So you'll get this here, the slot fade, and look at him. He comes up and strikes like a strong safety, right? He brings the leather, no doubt about that. That man can hit like you wouldn't believe, which leads me to believe he will be a damn good strong safety. Have him covering tight ends, have him roaming, being able to work against the run and everything. He's physical. He's a big physical guy like that. I think he would destroy it. But look, the very next play, that made it 3rd and 3. The very next play, what are they going to do? The same damn route they always do. Check this out. Getting off on here on this curl, works back to the ball, more early pandemic separation to move the chains. And that man kept throwing high on this. This man right here going up to get this. This man's making himself some money, no doubt about that here. But is that what they're supposed to do? I mean, they're giving you help over the top. At the very least, on this one right here, they actually called him. This is what I like right here. When you work with this slot, having Malachi Starks there. He's a guy, I think, who is a better transition guy than Kelee Ringo, and he plays the safety position. Imagine that. But look, early pandemic separation again, work back, move the chains. One thing that I forgot to mention is that the reason why I'm concentrating on this one is looking ahead. To me, the best passing team in college football is Ohio State. Ohio State is the best to me because it's a little bit more complex to deal with from a cornerback standpoint. Tennessee here, they have these wide-ass splits for their receivers. So if you're plus splitting these guys like this, you know you can't work to your right side here. So the sideline definitely is your friend. So he has the help of the sideline and over-the-top help, and he's still unable to be competitive in the quick and mid-range game. Cedric Tillman is a big receiver who works more in his wheelhouse. Ohio State has some big receivers that play like little men, and they have some smaller receivers who play like little men who get the ability to work a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage to where they also can work outside routes. They'll have a two-way goal, so that'll make it even tougher for somebody because they got a lot more transitions in their routes. You can see right here, Tennessee does the same thing over and over again, and he still couldn't get it. Here we go. Another slant, another penalty. Another slant, another penalty. Come on, man. Man lost his lid, too, right? It was mind-blowing. Look at that. Looking like he could get vert. Hey, let's go from the beginning here. This time he's falling off the cliff. No hands-on man there. Does not decrease the space. Look at that. What does he do when you don't decrease the space? You tend to have to play cornerback with your upper body instead of just transitioning with your feet. Look at him impeding his progress. He immediately knows he's done right here. If it's an in-breaking route, he's not going to be able to get through Cedric Tillman. So he has to ride the horse all the way down the line of scrimmage. You can see him pulling the jersey here, just completely panicking. And these throws are super high. Dang, I didn't notice that on the first watch through, but you can see right there, another penalty given up. That's first down after first down, no matter how you slice it. Here we go again. Like I said, formulaic. You're going to have that slant by Cedric Tillman, and that man is not competitive, and he's giving up yak on this bad boy. Look at this. Front-facing pass and fake. Then the yak comes. What are we talking about here? One great play, as great as a play as it does not erase the rest of the game. Come on, what are we doing here, man? You guys gotta, oh my God, makes me so mad. Check this out, man. This man is getting off on this dude, pause, for sure. Making him miss tackles, just being uncompetitive within the framework of the offense. That's where everything comes from. Everything stems not off just a vertical play. Their stuff stems off the quick game. You can't go vert all the time and run super heat tempo pacing. So that lets you know what type of team they are. The alignments themselves lets you know what type of team they are. They want to work the quick game, work the mid-range game. That should be where you absolutely slaughter them because they don't have route variation really.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.